Welcome back to LePodcast episode 64. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous Easy Hunt Show. Today is our first installment of the playoff floor ceiling series, the Western Conference. We're going to run through each playoff team in the Western Conference and explain what we think their floor is and their ceiling is, how well they can do and how poorly they can perform. We're going to spend the whole episode, no other intro. We got to do probably a reverse reveal based on the standings, right? All right, we're starting with the Thunder then?
Yeah, so 10-1. So we're including playing.
Sandy, go. Also, I did have for the West, I had the Blazers just to make fun of them. And I also had the Mavericks. I have it here. I have the Blazers floor I had because based on for my floor thing, I said what they should be. I said they should be in the second round if they're holding on to Dame and they're trying to give him pieces. They should be in the second round of the playoffs. But their ceiling is lower than their floor, and their ceiling is missed the playoffs. With the Mavericks, I have their ceiling as out in round 1 and 7, and their floor as out in round 1 and 5. With Kyrie and Luka, you should be in the playoffs. But that's all I got for the non-playoff teams.
To be honest, I did not include the Mavericks, even though I should, because there's still technically a small chance, even though the Thunder just beat the Jazz at the time of this recording. But let's say the Mavericks do make it, so I will give my floor and ceiling for them, I guess. My floor for the Mavericks is that they make it out the play-in, at least. Like, they do have a playoff spot. That's my expectation for them. And my ceiling, I know I was high on the Mavericks. I'm not anymore. I take that back. When they first got Kyrie, I was very high on them. But I'm taking it back now that I've seen them play. Everybody has bad takes, all right? Don't kill me. But my ceiling is that they would lose in the second round. They would get to the second round, but they're losing. They're not going to the Western Conference Finals. We're not seeing that's in the relevant.
I think that's very generous.
Yeah, and that's a ceiling,
that's
bro.
A generous ceiling.
Yeah, that is very generous. But I mean, Z, I'm not sure if you had any take on the Mavericks, but
I had a small one. My floor is pretty much the same as Saney's in terms of, like, this team should make it to the playoffs. This team, if they have one game in the play-in tournament, I think that they should win that game. Now, if they end up as the
eighth, Kyrie, you gotta win a must.
Exactly.
Come on, now. I said it differently. I said they'd lose round 1 of 5. I said the same thing.
Yeah,
they gotta make it to the playoffs.
You gotta make it to the playoffs. Yeah.
You got one game with Luka and Kyrie Irving, bro. Like, I'm expecting 30 pieces from both of them. Now, am I expecting defense? Hell nah. But hopefully on this day, the offense just works itself out and they win. But, yeah, ceiling for them, honestly, I want to say, like, second round, like, for sure. But I can't. The team needs defense. The team needs rebounding. The team needs so much outside of Luka and Kyrie that if they are to make it to the second round, I might buy 2 Luka and Kyrie jerseys. I might buy different versions of each jersey just because. I don't see it. And if it does happen, it's the biggest heroic effort I've ever seen in my life. It's reminiscent of 2018 Braun. But, like, I just don't have that many high expectations for this team outside of not only making it to the first round, but outside of the first round. Yeah, I'm stuck. That's a tough pickle. I can't. Just can't.
It's a tough pickle.
That's a tough pickle right there.
It's honestly sad to see what the Mavericks have become. I'm not going to lie. They're going to lose Luka. I used to have this idea that Luka was going to be their next Dirk. He's going to stick around. Club legend. He's not. I take.
They're losing him to the Big Apple.
They're losing him to the Big Apple. I actually, if he was to leave, I would say the Knicks. Like, I agree there. I do think the Knicks are makes the most sense. They're the only team. They're the only team. To me, right now, the Knicks are the only team that can offer up a package that's worth Luka Doncic, and Luka can go to a situation where he can win better. He has more of a chance of winning after that package has already been traded. Because other teams can trade away pieces, but they'll trade away pieces that contribute to a championship. You know, the Knicks have young guys, like a lot of young guys to get rid of, and if they replace them with Luka, they're better than what they were before, right? So to me, the Knicks are the only, like, viable option for the Mavericks to get rid of Luka. Also, opposite conferences, like, it doesn't really affect the Mavericks in terms of, like, you know what I mean? Unless they see each other in the finals. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've said it on this pod before, but I think Luka to the Knicks, obviously, I accept it. I'd root on Luka. But it's interesting with him and Brunson. It's just a dynamic that is not, like, perfect to me, not to mention that it would gut out the entire team, and you can't be a sustained championship contender when you gut out a team like that.
If we want to move on to the actual teams, though. If we want to move on to the actual teams.
To the actual teams like the Thunder.
we gave 5 minutes. We gave 5 minutes to the Mavericks.
No, that was crazy.
Yeah, no more.
I take it back.
Yeah,
I take it back.
But do you guys want me to start? I guess you see the little Thunder hat in the background, right? I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100. Their floor is the championship. No, joking. Obviously, their floor to me is losing in the play-in. They don't have any real expectations going into this playoff run. Assuming they do make the play-in, which I do think they will secure that spot. But I can 100% see them losing in the play-in and getting out. They're the 10 seed, so if they lose one game, they're out instantly. My ceiling for them, though, I'm going to keep it real. If they win in the play-in, I can see them making it to the second round and losing in the second round. I can see them making it to the second round. I'm going to keep it real. Like, they play the Nuggets. The Nuggets are not like a scary playoff team to me. They're not. Because they're 1-4. They're 1-4 in their last 5. In this last season stretch, it's the reason why Jokic won't get MVP anymore. Not saying Jokic is playing bad.
Yeah,
but the Nuggets have not been as good as they were at the beginning of the season. We can agree on that, right? And if there's a team that can catch a team lacking and by surprise, it's the Thunder. The Thunder have caught a lot of teams. It's so annoying, especially as a Thunder fan, to see them lose games that they should be winning, like blowing out. Like we're losing to like the Pistons, but we're like going toe-to-toe with the Suns fully healthy and the Warriors. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? But the Thunder are a team that I can see like give a team their run for the money. And that's why their ceiling to me is, making it out the first round, but not going anywhere past that. And that's the ceiling, by the way. That's not my expectation. That's like their peak.
For sure. Yeah, for the Thunder, I have their floor beat, my floor, there's no disrespect associated. It's simply based off expectation. Like, I have bad teams with high floors because they're supposed to be that good. For the Thunder, I think their floors easily lose the play-in. And their ceiling, I said round 1 in 7. They go out in 7 games.
That's fair.
I think they could definitely make it a competitive series.
Yeah.
My issue with winning is maybe I just haven't seen enough Thunder games, but like Jalen Williams, the center, he... as far as rim protection goes, I know, Jokic is not this big scary guy, but I just feel like they don't have a real interior presence on defense.
I agree with you, but the reason I said second round is because of the Nuggets. They don't have anybody that I'm scared of in the paint, that I'm scared that the Thunder won't be able to guard. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a fair point, because if you
not
look
to
at
mention
the Nuggets,
Shea lives down there.
Exactly. Shea,
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he has to be up there. If he's not number 1, he's up there in drives per game, right?
Points per game?
His whole game is based off getting to the paint.
Points, free throws, all that stuff.
Exactly. So who are the Nuggets going to have to stop him?
Aaron Gordon.
They probably throw Bruce Brown on him or KCP.
Yeah.
Thomas Bryant. The floor for the Thunder, I'm in agreement with y'all, and that's them losing. I don't even think they're going to lose, though. I really don't. I know it's going to be a competitive game. Obviously right now the picture is them versus Minnesota. But I can't bet against Shea. I feel like Shea's going to go out there and do his thing. Win or lose, Shea's going to give me 35 plus. I'm confidently saying that right now. Unless Ant has different options or different plans or whatever. But it's a Sandy's point about the Nuggets. I never really thought about that. If OKC matches up with them, they don't have.
I think you're underselling the Nuggets.
We're underselling the Nuggets.
I do think the Thunder can make it competitive.
Yeah, we can make it competitive. We can make it competitive. I would take the Nuggets.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're going to win. I'm saying they can stretch the series out something farther than a gentleman's sweep.
It won't be a sweep,
or even a sweep.
It will not be a sweep.
Because
I agree.
mean, yeah. So I would say that their ceiling for me is extending a first round series to not getting swept in the first round. That's what I'll say. Not getting swept. I believe they can get 1, if not 2, on this Denver team for certain. If this happens hypothetically. But yeah, that's where I'm at on it. So.
We should probably move a little quicker with these next few teams because
especially the T-Wolves. I mean,
T-Wolves. I'll tell you right now, my floor is they lose in the play-in. Like I don't have any expectations to them make the playoffs, and my ceiling is that they get bounced out in the first round. I have no expectations for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I have right here their expectations after getting Gobert. I said they should be out in round 2. I don't care if they get swept. I feel like they should be a second round team. And once again, I'll say it like my floor is simply based off where you should be. And then my ceiling is they make it to round 2 somehow, and get swept. So it's the same thing, floor and ceiling.
My floor for them is obviously them losing. Ceiling-wise, it's interesting with this team. I'm not a fan of this version of the Timberwolves compared to last year's version, because I feel like last year's version had a lot more, how do you say, characters maybe. Just a lot more that went about with that team.
Just say they added Gobert.
That's it.
That
trade
right? Aged like milk.
That's all I can say.
It aged like milk.
They gave that. If it was, I wouldn't even do it. I would not do that trade for Walker Kessler for Rudy Gobert straight up. Like those two, 1-for-1. I wouldn't even do that trade. So
that's a real conversation.
That's a real conversation.
I think you might have to throw Kessler in a pick to get Gobert.
I would not give it. No, I wouldn't. If I had Kessler, I'm not giving him up for Gobert. You got to give me Gobert.
It might
in a
take
pick.
two.
You got to give me Gobert in a pick.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. It might take Gobert and 2 first to get Walker Kessler.
That's not crazy.
Exactly.
That's not crazy. But let's move on to the Pelicans. My floor is that they lose in the first round. I do have them making the play-in. That's my expectation for them, that they win the play-in and they lose in the first round. And I have them winning the play-in, their matchup against the Lakers. They win that matchup. They get the 7th seed. I have them getting the 7th seed but losing to the Grizzlies. That's my floor for them. And my ceiling for them is that they make a dark horse run at the Western Conference Finals and lose there. They don't make the finals, but they do make it past the second round. I can see that happening. With Zion coming back, but it depends on Zion coming back. That's why it's my ceiling. That's why it's like my peak for them.
I was about to say
Zion's out for the play-in, so I don't know how much longer he's gonna be out, because there was rumors that he was gonna be back for the play-in, and now he's not, and they extended it to not being in for the play-in. So I don't know how long they're gonna extend this injury, but I am gonna say that they're a dark horse run at a Western Conference Finals for me.
I took it a step further. I mean, my floor, I had they make it a competitive first round. They take it to 7, or 6 or 7. And I had their ceiling as making it to the finals. I think the West is wide open. They've been playing hot, and Zion is a monster when he's on the court. So you never know.
Fair.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Mine was completely revolving around if Zion returns, because if Zion returns, I like my chances of this team going to the Western Conference Finals. They're complete. The thing with the Pelicans that like amuses me is that without Zion, they went from like the top of the Western Conference, 1st, 2nd seed, all the way down to the play-in. But they could have easily done what like the Portland Trailblazers are doing, and the Portland Trailblazers have their best player. They just suck. But like when you look at the Pelicans and you look at the team that they have, like are they still missing Grand Theft Alvarado? They still missing him, right? Still,
yes, I could shoot.
Yes, I could shoot. They're still missing him. But I look at everybody else on the team. I'm thinking about Brandon Ingram, CJ, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Like they just have so much young
That's what
talent.
I'm saying, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It's
they're
a great team.
Been in the playoffs. CJ's been in the playoffs.
People forget when they're healthy, they were a 2nd seed.
Yeah. And you implement Zion Williamson into that, I have no problem with you saying that they can go to the. They have no problem with you saying they can go to the finals, because, like you said, the West is wide open. I feel like every single team just needs an X factor, and the Pelicans, if they get Zion back, that's the best X factor you have, like in the entire playoffs. To me, is if you have that guy back, the guy that had you at the top, the guy that you were running around or rolling the offense around and letting him just be a freaking tank. Like, I don't see anybody stopping him. Not KD, not MPJ, not Aaron Gordon. Like,
I agree.
Not DeMontis Sabonis. Like, yeah. So yeah, my ceiling for them is Western Conference Finals.
Here's where we get into
if all goes right.
Yeah, can we please talk about the Lakers?
Yeah, here's where we get fun. Here's where we get into the fun stuff. So I'd like to point out that I use the same ideology as Hoop, where my floor is what I expect them to do, because Hoop texted and asked us to do that. So you're welcome. But my floor for the Lakers is that, number one, they win the play-in, and they win it as the 8th seed. So they lose the first game, but they win the second one. That's what I think is going to happen. And their floor, to me, is losing a competitive second round. So they keep it up in the second round, but they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals. That's my expectation for them. I'm not expecting them to make a run at the finals. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people are, because it's LeBron James, but I'm going to keep it real. Like, I'm not putting my money on the Lakers. I'm not. If I had to put my money on 4 teams from the West.
What was that?
I can name you 4 teams, which I will. I have 4 teams that I can see making it farther than the Lakers. Pelicans were one of them, by the way, in the West, that to me make it farther than the Lakers, right? But their ceiling, to me, I can see the opportunity for a run at the finals depending on how the West plays out, because like you said, the West is wide open. And I see them losing in the finals as a ceiling. So if they get to the finals, I don't see them winning. There's no way or no scenario where I see the Lakers win. Because even if they get past the West, because the West is up for grabs, there are a lot of big dogs in the East they got to handle, and they won't. Pause. But that's my end of it.
Yeah, so I have the Lakers floor. When you have LeBron and AD and you trade half the team to make a new one, you're supposed to be in the Western Conference Finals. So that to me is their floor, even though it's unrealistic. Their ceiling is to make the finals. For people saying that the Lakers can win the finals, I'm not saying it's impossible, but based on history, they are not. They're extremely against it right now. Before the show, just like 15 minutes before the show, I looked through trends of previous champions. One of the things I found is that the net rating, well, I'll just define it first. It's like the difference between your offensive defensive rating, how the difference between those two numbers. And based on where you place in the league, the champion is an average through the last 20 years of 3.3. So they're usually like third or 2, 1, 4, 5, 6 in defensive rating. In the last 20 years, no one has been below 8. And in history, the only team to be below 8 is the 95 Rockets when they had like Drexler and another key guy, might have been, what's his name? Otis Thorpe.
Was Ralph Sampson on that team?
For a little while.
Nah,
I don't believe so.
They had Clyde and I think. But
I'm saying that's the one time in history where a team outside the top 8 in net rating won a ring because 2 of their key guys were hurt. The Lakers,
and they were the 6th seed, right?
Their net rating, the Lakers are 19th. And if you want to say, oh, they traded half the team away, and I have the stats right here. Since this is the last 15 games, they're 5th. So to say, like, I think you'd need to be first by a landslide in the last 15 games to justify you winning a final series against the Bucks, who are 3rd in net rating, or the Celtics, who are 1st in net rating. I'd want my champion to be within the top 8. I don't want to get outside of history. The one team to do it was the 95 Rockets. Maybe there's a team out there. It's a weird season that could do it, but I am not betting on the Lakers at all. They're still... It can't.
I hope to God it's not the Lakers.
It's not going to be the Lakers.
If it's going to be a team, it better be like the Thunder or some fun.
No, it's not. It's not going to be the Lakers. When I look at this Lakers squad, like, it's really hard for me to assess it. Like, I understand that they, like, since the trades that they've made, like, they're like you could say, yeah, they're tough. They're better than they were with the team that they had back in November. Pieces fit together a little bit better. The chemistry looks like it's there, but it's not. When I looked at the Lakers game the other night against, who did they play? The Clippers, right? The Clipper game. I noticed that, like, the Lakers are when LeBron gets back, the whole dynamic of this team changes. Like, when LeBron was out, you saw glimpses of, like, I don't know, like D'Lo from his Nets days, maybe, or
Austin Reeves.
Shades of Austin Reeves. Yes, Austin Reeves.
Just weird, yeah. But you got to play LeBron ball when he's there.
Exactly. Random guys that are going off that have their number called on this specific night because you look up the court and all you see is Anthony Davis there. So you know that you could at least get some more shots that you wouldn't get if Labatt was there. But at the same time, when I look at, like, the rest of, like, the conference, and I'm thinking to myself, LA, if they win the play-in matchup against the Pelicans, right? They match up against the Grizzlies. I could see LA taking that to 7. I could. When I look at the Grizzlies, the one thing that they have over the Lakers you could really say, but not by a landslide, is, like, defense. That's just because of JJJ. But outside of him, Steven Adams is still on the bench. Brandon Clark's out for the season. So, backing him up he's going to have a lot of pressure on him, right? For the Lakers, all has to go well. And what I mean from on that end is your best 2 players have got to play, like, a lot. Like, there can be no room for setbacks. There's no time for, like, AD to have a fucking, like, hurt pinky or none of that. Like, there's no time. You have to make and capitalize on your time. So the ceiling for this team for me is, for sure, I could say, if all goes right, because the West is so wide open, I could see them going to the Western Conference Finals. The floor for them is I could see them getting bounced out in the second round. I don't see them getting bounced out in the first round the same way that they did in 2021, and that was namely because of, like, injuries and shit like that. But second round for me is where their floor is. And it's mainly because I feel like this Lakers team can give a lot of the other teams a good fight, but I don't think that they're better than, like Sandy said, you can name 4 better teams in the West than the Lakers, right? So that's where I'm at with them. So floor, second round, ceiling, conference finals. We can move on to the team that's going to win the championship.
The Warriors. Oh my, you did not. Should we let Z go first? But I kind of want to hear this.
I think we should. So for the Golden State Warriors, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the floor for this team for me is, I'm going to say it, it's the Western Conference Finals. The Western Conference is wide the hell open. And when I look at the teams that are ahead of Golden State, I just if right now it's a matchup between the Kings in the first round. I'm picking the Dubs. I love the Kings, love everything about them, light the beam, all that, fantastic. I just don't think this is the Kings' year. Give them another year, maybe 2, to put some more pieces together, fill out that roster a little bit more, find your missing pieces. Then yeah, you got it. Especially on the defensive end, because you can't be a number 1 offense and what are they, 15-20 range defensive wise. So they're kind of literally like a phenomenal offense that just doesn't have
the Kings on the season are 25th in defense.
God, okay. So my point
they're
exactly.
Still top.
Number
they're still
1,
top 8 in net rating.
Right. So for the Kings, I just think there's the lack of playoff experience. There is the defensive woes. And this is why I think they're still going to be able to put up a fight, because they're still going to be able to put points on the board. But for the Warriors, it's a different story. I talked about X factors a second ago. And so for the ceiling for the Warriors, if they can get back to the finals, the only way I see that is if that X factor comes back and does his job. That X factor is Andrew Wiggins. He's back with the team. They're going to play him in the playoffs. They'll rest him for the rest of the season. Smart move on Steve Kerr's part. One of the very rare smart things that he's done all season. But whatever. Wiggins is definitely that X factor for me. This is the guy that can guard the best player on the team. This is the guy that can be the number 2 on any given night. If he's hot, if he's hitting from deep, if he's driving in and posterizing people, like Wiggins just has that in his bag. He's literally a human pogo stick. And I dig that. Pause, I think. Anyway, as for everybody else on the team, Klay Thompson's there doing his thing, popping off. Gary Payton's back doing his thing. Gary Payton, Wiggins, Draymond, Dante DiVincenzo in the same lineup off the bench is going to be insane, especially when you're going up against teams like the Nuggets, especially when you're going up against teams that lack bench depth like the Suns, where they're going to literally need Kevin Durant to be out there 40 minutes
a night. Put some respect on Ish Wainwright's name.
My bad. Ish Wainwright, two-way sport legend. He's the Deion Sanders of our generation. Love him. But yeah, that's what it is for me. I just think that all goes right for the Warriors. Their ceiling is there for the finals, and that is if Andrew Wiggins is back and playing like
You're
Andrew Wiggins.
Make the finals or win the finals?
Win the entire thing.
Nah.
Because let me tell
can
you
I go
something.
next? Can I go next?
Go ahead, Sandy. Go ahead.
Sure.
Because I agree with Z. Because I agree with Z. I want to build off of that. My ceiling for the Warriors is that they win the finals. I'm gonna keep it real. Like I agree with Z on that, and I hate to agree with Z, but it's the Warriors, bro. Like if they make it, I'm gonna be honest, like.
Hold on. So where's that logic for it's LeBron though?
Because LeBron,
the Lakers.
Because LeBron James has been missing the playoffs. He's been missing the playoffs, and the Lakers suck.
What?
The Warriors are good. The Warriors just haven't been healthy this whole season. And now they're getting Wiggins back. They got Gary Payton on that bench again, bro. They're a good team, low key. Like you can't hate on them, man.
Have they been playing well over these last 15, 20 games?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
They've been playing good basketball.
I would say when you're
I watched the Warriors.
You gotta look at it.
Like I actually watched the Warriors
I gotta look at it like what?
Dominate here's the Warriors. The first half they played the worst basketball I've ever seen in my life, and then somehow in the second half they come out shooting the lights out, bro. With Klay Thompson, first of all, Klay Thompson's playing better than what he played last season. You have Gary Payton, who's now back on the bench. Dante DiVincenzo was a great pickup. Andrew Wiggins hasn't even been playing basketball, and we know what he can do when he's there. We've seen them win a ring with Kevon Looney as their center, and Draymond Green is just that glue guy. But like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like they can win the finals. Like you have to give them that. Like, they can, and that's my ceiling.
That's what I was about to say.
And my floor for them is that
I don't have to give them.
And my floor for them is that they lose in the second round in a competitive fashion, like in 6 or 7 games. That's my floor.
Fair.
That's my expect. But I can see their ceiling. I agree with Z. There is a path for them to go and win the finals. There is. You can.
All I'm saying is, Hoop, if you're thinking like rebounding and stuff that, like, oh my God, they have Looney. We heard that last year, bro.
We heard that last year, and they can't beat a team in the East. They beat the Celtics. They beat the best defensive team in the league.
Going into the finals, the Celtics was the best defensive team in the league.
You know how I feel about the Celtics. They were not the best team in the league. The Milwaukee Bucks.
Defensive. They were the best defensive team in the league.
Chris Middleton.
They were the best defensive team in the league.
They were.
And last season, the Celtics were good last season.
With the
deep boy.
With the deep boy.
And they lost.
I'm just saying. There's nothing like in the last 15 games. They had a 3-game skid to the Clippers, Hawks, Grizzlies. They beat the Rockets, the Mavericks, the Sixers. They lost to the Timberwolves. Beat the Pelicans and Spurs. So there's not they lost to the Nuggets. Beat the Thunder. There's not a lot of like championship caliber basketball being played over the last 15 games. They're 16th in net rating, and over the whole season they're 15th in net rating. So going off my numbers alone, if I really want to be the stat nerd, I'd say there's no shot. Now I know there's injuries and stuff happens. So this is again, the West is wide open. This is why I say they can make the finals. That's their ceiling. But there's a large gap for me between West teams making the finals and winning the finals. There's only one team in the West that I say has a chance at winning the finals.
Okay. Is it not the Warriors?
I think their floor. I think their floor.
I'm gonna be honest, man.
Once again, based on them being the worst, they should be in the Western Conference Finals.
After last year, the Warriors proved to me that those numbers don't mean shit. I'm gonna keep it real.
They don't mean
like
shit.
you get to the bottom.
They were just playing so much better last year,
bro. They've been playing, bro. But think about it this way, man. They haven't had Wiggs for the last 25 games, and their other guys have been stepping up.
It's hard to re-implement someone into the lineup like that.
I don't know, man.
Look at Gary Payton.
I don't know,
Gary
man.
Payton. Don't even. No. Hoop. We're not about to do that. We're not about to do that.
No,
He doesn't have a big role.
We can't. Let's not have this huge argument because we don't have the time. We don't have the time for a 20-minute war.
We're not about to have an argument.
has to go out there and guard someone. Wiggins has a whole
hoop. Just think about it like this. We're not gonna argue. Okay, we're gonna use our inside voices.
I'm not listening to the Warriors fan.
Listen, you're not gonna listen to the Warriors fan. I'm not gonna listen to the Knicks fan. At the same time that
happens to have a better record than the team.
So let me tell you something.
What are you talking about? I defended the Knicks.
I really want to know.
It's not defending my team to say that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland might be a better playoff duo than Brunson and Randle. I said the Knicks would win. I said the Knicks would win.
You can talk about the Knicks all you want, but I know that you're sweating a matchup with Cleveland. Like you're sweating that. I ain't sweating shit in the West. I don't care about
the Warriors.
No, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're not starting this. We are not starting this.
Yeah, we'll have this conversation later.
Clippers next, please.
He's salty.
You just hating on the defending champion.
He's just taking random headshots.
I ain't salty. You just hating on the defending champions. I understand.
Hey, he hopped on the boat this season.
I was on the boat when I was in 8th grade. I was on the boat when I was in 8th grade wearing them Curry 2.5s. Wearing them Curry 2.5s. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He said he was a Derrick Rose
Bro said
fan.
the Curry 2.5
fan.
Bro said the Curry
2015.
He was a Warriors fan the whole time.
So if I was, can you not call me a bandwagon then? Because like, damn, that's a cheap shot, right?
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Okay, we're not bringing up Curry 2.5.
My problem is
we're not,
he is a bandwagon.
Yes.
He was a Warriors fan the entire time. He just tried to hide it when they were winning by saying, "I'm a Derrick Rose fan. I was watching the Pistons." No, you were not. No, you were not. And then the second,
you want to bet? You want to bet right now? Blake Griffin had one of his greatest seasons of all time. I had to watch that shit.
What?
I had the unfortunate travesty to have to watch that. I had the unfortunate luck to have to watch Derrick Rose, my favorite player, go to a team where Blake Griffin is your franchise star. Don't give me that. It's Minnesota. Derrick Rose dropping 50. I went to school the next day. I was shitting on everybody. My favorite player dropped 50.
Off Instagram headlines.
Stop playing with me right now. Stop playing with me.
All right. Let's go. Yeah, we spent too much time on the Warriors. Clippers.
He's reading off Instagram headlines.
Clippers, okay? I think the floor of the Clippers is that they lose. My expectation for them is that they make it to the Western Conference Finals and they lose. That's my expectation for the Clippers. That team is way too built. They have way too many pieces to not do something. I don't want to see them bounce on the first or second round. They're a powerhouse in the West to me. I think they should be losing in the Western Conference Finals minimum. Ceiling is I have them winning the finals. You put Kawhi Leonard in a final series, I have them winning. That's my ceiling for them. I can see them win the finals. But that's just me. I don't think I really need to explain Kawhi Leonard in the finals, do I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like the biggest Kawhi defender on here, but I have him like the Clippers. I feel like a nerd. They're statistically mid, bro. They're like 15th in offense, 16th in defense, 15th net. Like, and Paul George, am I gonna trust both of their health? Since they've got both guys back, not both guys back, I'm sorry. In the last like 15 games or so, they're 12th in net. They're not playing.
I want to see
championship basketball down the stretch.
What are their stats when they're healthy?
When they're man, that's like an 8-game sample size.
Don't care. I want to if they're fully healthy. The ceiling is assuming the best.
I think the ceiling is them getting worked by any team that comes out the East.
Nah, he's just a hater now. He's a hater. He's a hater.
I praise Kawhi more than anyone,
bro. I don't know.
But I do think
feel like,
with the way that
I feel like
wait, I gotta say my floor. I'm gonna say my floor. With the way that the Clippers historically have been awful, this is their team to make the finals, and if they don't, it's a travesty. So I think Steve Ballmer should be disappointed if they don't.
They split up if they don't win this year.
Exactly.
The floor for me,
if they make it, they might give it another go. But they need.
That's
what
I mean. Like they have another disappointment.
They need to be in.
Sorry, if they have another disappointment.
The ceiling for me is definitely the finals, and I agree with you on the point of like this is the best squad that they've had since the Kawhi PG dynamic tandem got together. And another thing, to your point about like their offensive rating, net rating, defensive rating, like the more and more I look at this Clippers team, I think to myself like, for Ty Lue, you have so much on paper to work with, like. It's all about implementing the right guys in at the right moments, but at the same time, the most guys that need to be right, bro. A prime example: Marcus Morris is now getting like damn near DNPs for Batum, right? Clippers fans wanted Marcus Morris to be benched because he was shooting like shit, and now Batum is out there, who is a little bit taller, a little bit more, I guess you could say, odds quicker on his feet, which is weird to say because he's like 32, 30. I don't know. Nicholas Batum's been around for a little bit.
Fourth quarter, why Batum in?
Right. Like, bro, what? But, and then you think about, like, the other guys they have, like Covington, and then you have Bones Highland. Like, I was watching the game the other day. Norman Powell single-handedly, like, just destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers by himself. He outscored their bench, like, on any given night. So I'm thinking about in the playoffs, you have not only outside of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook, but you have guys like Norman Powell, and you have guys like Covington, who are 3-and-D guys that can heat up. Look at the Mavericks last year; they're 3-and-D guys. Besides Luka, like you can accredit them going to the Western Conference Finals to Luka. I accredit it to a lot more than just Luka. I accredit it to Jalen Brunson in the first 3 games of that first round because he was averaging over 30, and then I accredit it to Luka, obviously being Luka, and then their 3-and-D guys heating up at the right moment. If you are a team that is struggling, all you need to do when you make it to the playoffs is hope that your role players are on fire. If your superstars doing this thing on a night in and night out basis, in this case it would be Kawhi and Paul George. If their role players are hitting like they were the other night against the Lakers, if I see Norman Powell off the bench with 22 points and Bones Highland hitting 3 straight threes, they're going to be lethal. Not to mention Zubac, not to mention Mason Plumlee, right? They have a lot on paper that should amount to a finals appearance at least. The floor for me, however, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I could see them getting bounced out of the playoffs, but the floor for me is them getting bounced out due to someone not being able to make it to the finish line. Paul George, Kawhi, one of the leaders.
Yeah.
Because that's all that we've seen if history has shown us, right? Kawhi's blew his knee out last year. Paul George got them into the play-in. Kawhi blew his knee out 2 years ago and on the way to the Western Conference Finals. And then the year before that, they blew a 3-1 lead in the bubble to the Nuggets. And Kawhi had 8 points in a Game 7, which no one talks about for some reason, but whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ways this team could lose, but I feel like the biggest way that they would lose is if they lose out on one of their star players in the playoffs. So their floor to me is bouncing out or getting bounced out before the finals due to injury. Like, this team should make it to the conference finals or finals. Like, that's it.
We gotta go through these last 4 teams a little quicker here because we do only have about 10 minutes left. So I will say the Suns is simple to me, and I don't think there needs to be much explanation. My floor for them is they lose in the finals. Like, they should be making the finals, realistically, with that team and the way it's built. And my ceiling is that they win the finals. But for me, the Suns, it's almost, if there is a team that you could put your money on in the West, it's the Suns. That's my case.
This is the one team that I think can possibly take down an Eastern team in the finals.
Yeah.
I have the same exact thing. I have make finals for the floor and win finals for the ceiling. They're obviously, this goes against my number scheme. But Kevin Durant, over the last 15 games, they've been like very high.
They're with Kevin Durant. So with Kevin Durant, not
this
including
can
tonight's Lakers
absolutely
game.
be a 95 Rocket situation.
Yeah, because Kevin Durant, like, it's a new addition.
They
Kevin
have
Booker
Kevin
injured
Durant,
for a lot of the season too. So,
yep. The ceiling for me is them winning the finals. I like their team because of the sheer fact that they have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and CP3 mid-range mafia. The floor for me is not. I don't because I see them either going to the finals or getting taken out of the playoffs. The one team that I could see taking them out personally is the Warriors, but that's just because like the Warriors are deeper than them a little bit. If you really look at it, like go check the numbers. Do you want Ish Wainwright or do you want Kevon Looney? Give me Looney. Do you want Ish Wainwright or do you want Jonathan Kuminga? Give me Jonathan Kuminga.
I only agree with this one statement, and it's the gimme Looney. I'm not a
Give me Looney. Give me Looney. Born man gets paid.
Hoop, I see your face. We don't have time for this. We don't have.
We don't have time. We need to talk about this.
Book or Steph and
Hoop.
Outer
Look at Clay. Hoop. Look. Literally, you talked about the 8-0.
Wait till Andrew Wiggins comes back.
That's the X
factor. You know what's crazy?
We're not doing this.
This is going to be a clip because they're just. I know how the Warriors work. They're definitely going to win the finals. I'm going to look like an idiot, so I'll just leave it there.
I can't.
Stupid Warriors.
By the way, just as a little reference for you guys, I just want to tell you guys, Kyrie, Josh Green, like a bunch of Mavs players are out tonight, so it's looking like the Mavericks won't make it. But
all right, Luka,
let's move on to the Kings.
MSG.
Let's move on to the Kings, man. I have their floor for me, and my expectation, if I'm being real, is that they lose in the first round. Because it's either the Lakers or the Pelicans are going to have to play, and both of those teams are more experienced than them. And defensively, they lack. I mean, offensively, they got some firepower. Sacramento's a great home court to have. But, I mean, it's the first time in the playoffs. I can definitely see things crumble or not work out the way they wanted to. So I'm going to take the experience over the Cinderella run they had this whole season. And I'm going to say they lose in the first round. My ceiling for them is that they lose in the second round. So if they win, and I can see them winning in the first round, they don't make it past the second. Because once you get to the second, you got to play either like the Suns or the Warriors or, you know, like the Nuggets. And I can see those teams beating them. So I don't see them making it. My ceiling for them is that they lose in the second round. My floor is that they lose in the first.
Yeah, if this was a year down the timeline, I'd say that their ceiling is losing the conference finals. I do have them like making a their ceiling should be a competitive second round exit. For their floor, I think they need to win at least one game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Preferably at home.
Yeah.
Like it's very like narrative driven, but they need to win a playoff.
So basically
game. We agree there. Okay. I think they could take it to 6.
Yeah, mine is literally the same thing. Floor, first round, ceiling, second round. I wanted to say conference finals because of just from the script alone. I just feel like that could happen.
Yeah, they're not script writing for the Kings. They're not script writing for the Kings. They're not script writing for the Kings.
They are, bro. It's 20 years since the screw job with the Lakers, bro. I can see it. I can just see it.
It's gonna be. It's really gonna be hard to win in Sacramento.
Yeah, it is. Like, it will be. Yeah, it will be tough.
You don't understand how loud it is in there.
Yeah. But the second a team
games.
slips out one win, it crumbles in Sacramento.
Yeah,
I don't know.
True.
I think they have a good shot.
So for my Grizzlies, so I know we're nearing like the last 8 minutes of the show. So my Grizzlies, I have their floor losing in the first round, depending on, because like the Lakers could see them, and I do see the Lakers, you know, beating them in that, or the Pelicans again, right? And depending on how the Grizzlies turn out today, and it looks like they're going to win against the Bucks, they're going to get that second seed. So, you know, I have the the Grizzlies losing in the first round. That's my floor for them. That's my expectation if I'm keeping it real. My ceiling for them is going to sound crazy, is that they lose in a competitive fashion in the second round, same as the Kings. I don't see, there's too many powerhouses in the West for me to put the Grizzlies over them, and I do really like the Grizzlies, but I'm taking like if they see the Suns.
No, you don't.
Or if they see I like the Grizzlies.
You don't like.
I like the Grizzlies. They're a fun team to watch. Let's be honest. You guys might hate the narrative around them in the media.
Why do they have so many wins? This is not a Kings situation where they came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but the Jazz, you can say the same thing about the Jazz, and then they meet a team that actually has. Because, bro, a lot of the reason why they have so many wins is because they were blessed.
What does this have to do with the Jazz came out of nowhere, too? The Grizzlies have been in the playoffs.
Really, 3 seasons of the Jazz being a top-seeded team in the West is coming out of nowhere? What are you talking about? The Jazz have been in the...
You're talking about the Donovan Mitchell Jazz?
Yeah. I'm not talking about this year Jazz. I'm saying it's like the same type of situation. And listen to this. The Grizzlies are blessed. The Grizzlies get blessed with health. They only missed John Morant for like 8 games this season. The Grizzlies got blessed with health.
That was because he went peeping on Instagram Live.
That's why their regular season is so high. That's what I'm saying. When you go into the playoffs, and everybody's healthy.
They have much more dynamic talent.
When they go into the playoffs and everybody's healthy, it's a different story. But regular season records never tell the full story because the Warriors beat them in a series, and the Warriors have 10 less games won than them.
I think
the Lakers could beat them in a series, and they have a finals is too far for me. I don't see them beating the Suns.
Yeah, not with that half-court offense. You
Yeah, exactly. That's why my ceiling for them is losing the second round in competitive faction.
Dylan Brooks is going to shoot them out the playoffs.
You're acting like these other teams like have.
No, I agree, but I take those other teams.
Flawed.
I take these other teams.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't expect them to make the finals. I'm saying their ceiling is they can make the finals.
That's fair.
And their floor, with how much they talk, they should be in the conference finals.
Agree. Okay, yeah, fair. If you want to go based off what the narrative they create for themselves, sure. But I'm going off of what I look at them as a team, like what I see as a team.
Yeah, sure.
Z, what do you think?
The floor for me is obviously a first round exit, and this is to specifically the Lakers. I feel like if a healthy Laker team, LeBron and AD, like they despise the Grizzlies, probably outside of Ja Morant. But if y'all remember that game like last year where LeBron was like, I ain't with all that, like y'all gonna shut the hell up talking to me like that. Like Bron probably is like waiting for a moment like this to like show these young fellas like, you know, who their precious king is. But outside of that, ceiling wise, second round, bro. Second round. I'm gonna be real with you. I love the Grizzlies. I'm a fan of Ja Morant. Ja Morant's gonna show up. I can tell you that. I can believe that. Outside of him, like I aforementioned, the injuries to Steven Adams, the injuries to Brandon Clark, the Grizzlies are not as complete as they were even last season around this time. Dylan Brooks is fucking Dylan Brooks, so I mean that's what do you expect? He's gonna play great defense, but outside of that, I can very well see a game in the playoffs where Dylan Brooks shoots the Grizzlies out of the game because he's done it a million times in his 4 to 5 years of being there. Desmond Bane is another.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. Because I was just saying you got a guy on your team that can shoot you out of games too. But we don't mention that.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Ever? No. Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson can shoot you out of a game, bro.
Klay Thompson.
Oh, stop, bro. Stop. Just stop.
Just stop. No. We're not getting into this. We have 4 minutes left. We have 4 minutes left. We're talking about the Nuggets. We're talking about the Nuggets, okay? We're not doing this.
Don't you dare.
Floor for me.
I can't wait for Klay to drop 50. Klay gonna drop 50 in the playoffs. I'm calling it.
Nuggets. We're talking about the Nuggets. Floor for me for the Nuggets, considering that, you know, their team is fully healthy going into this series or going into this year, this playoff run. My expectation for them is that they make it to the Western Conference Finals and they lose in the conference finals. I don't see them I could see a situation where they don't make the finals, and that's fine because, you know, there's some good teams in the West. But my expectation is that they at least make it to the conference finals. My ceiling is that they lose in the finals. I don't see any situation where they make the finals and they win. I think every East team beats them. I think the only 2 teams in the West that I can see winning the finals are the Warriors and the Suns. Just to recap. But yeah, that's my opinion. Like I only have 2 teams that I think can win the finals of the West.
Yeah, I mean I think those are also very long shots to win. I have the Nuggets losing in the finals as my ceiling, and their floor, I think they need to make the finals. They're sitting on a guy who could be a 3-time MVP.
Yeah.
They have Jamal Murray at full health. They have MPJ at full health. That's rare.
Yeah.
They have a great supporting cast. They made good moves at the deadline. This is the time to do it. I think they would be they'd be disappointed in themselves if they don't make the finals.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I'm just gonna say this because I was gonna say this for Joel Embiid, but this is a little hint to the Eastern Conference. I know we're doing the next episode, but this is a little hint. Joel Embiid has been on a media tour for the past 3 weeks, talking shit to Jokic, throwing shots at Jokic, saying, I haven't won anything, but that guy hasn't won anything either, and he's got 2 MVPs,
I wish they were in the same conference, bro.
I wish they were too. Because all I'm saying is Joel has a little point, but at the same time, what I'm going to tell Jokic is the same thing I'm going to tell Joel Embiid if either or wins the MVP, right? For Jokic, let me start with Joel. For Joel, if you were to win this MVP, you had better make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, at least. But if not that, you better go to the finals. For Jokic, the same boat. If you get 3 straight MVPs, you better go to the finals. You're the 1 seed. You have everybody healthy, like you just said. For the first time in ages. It's a blue moon in Denver. You better go to the finals. If you don't, it's going to be hell in the offseason for you. If Jokic gets bounced out in the first or second round, even the conference finals, it's still going to be hell to pay. But for both of these guys to be MVPs of our league, top 2, fighting it out neck and neck every day, switching up the polls and the ballots, both of y'all better do something, whoever wins. I don't give a damn who it is. You better do something. you better go to the finals. You better go to it better say finals. It better either say conference or finals. That's it. That's for both of these guys. I'm just gonna give you a little spoiler for Philly. But for the Nuggets, the floor for me is the conference finals. The ceiling for me is, like you said, losing in the finals, maybe. But at least if they get there, I'm not even gonna be mad. I would not be mad if they lost because they got there. That's all I'm worried about.
If they get there, that just tells them that they're literally like a role player piece away from like whatever they're lacking in. And I'm guessing it's going to be interior defense. But this has been a great episode. I'm excited to do
Evan
East.
Mobley type vibe.
And Evan Mobley, yeah, exactly. But this has been a great episode. Eastern Conference coming next episode. What episode even is this? Let me check.
64.
64.
I remember it because it's what I messed up on the last one.
Yeah, so 65.
64. It's episode
65, man. And then after that, 66. We're 2/3 there to episode 100. So we have 30.
We're talking about the Knicks in the playoffs at that point.
We have 34 more episodes. We have 34 more episodes to try and land the LeBron feature. So that's a goal. And
episode 100 special.
That actually would be OD, bro. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys taking your time to listen to this episode, and we will see you guys for episode 65. Peace.